Alright, in this video we are going to tackle the else movement, or else making an else if statement in Unity and C Sharp. So, why do we need an else if statement? Well, if we were to click play right now, with the script we currently have, we can move up by holding down on W. But we can't really control how we move down. Down is being controlled by gravity. And we also get some funny things like this where the object wants to flip over. And we'll adjust all that stuff soon. So right now, up works, but we can't move down. And we also can't really control how we're moving. We're going to adjust all that stuff in this video. So first thing we want to do is let's fix the first problem. That's probably the easiest problem. Let's make it so the character doesn't flip over when it hits the down boundary. I'm going to click on the character. Now, all the stuff affecting gravity is controlled inside the rigid body. What's also being controlled in the rigid body is what we can also control in the rigid body is something called a constraint. Now, what is a constraint? It basically freezes or stops the character from doing certain things. In this case, we know that when we hit down here, it rotated to the left. If we want to, we can make it so that it doesn't rotate to the left or right. So that we're going to freeze the Z rotation so it doesn't do anything. Under rigid body, I'm going to click on freeze rotation like so. So now, when I play the game, the character simply can't rotate or fall to the left or right. If you wanted to, you could also freeze the X position because you are only moving up and down. I'm just going to click that just because this is something I like to do. For this really depends on the game you're making, but if you know you're not moving to the left or right, just freeze the X position as well. Now, next thing I want to do, I want to be able to control how my character moves down. But right now, with gravity at 1, or at its normal 9.8 meters per second, my character is not allowed to move down at will. It's at the mercy of gravity. What do I want to do? Let's just turn gravity off. Put it at 0. Now, I play the game. My character doesn't move down anymore. It can still move up, but not down. Which is awesome. Now, with all that solved, I want my character to move down when I press the S key on the keyboard. So, to do that, I'm going to go into my script. Now, for this module, you don't have to make any new scripts. I already made one for you. It's called Pong Movement V1. And it looks like this. So you can double click on the script like so. And your scripting editor will open up with the script that you made before. Now this script contains every single thing we made in the last module. It's just that we're doing it inside of the Pong movement script, so you don't have to make a new script for this one. Alright, so right now we have it where if I press up on the W key, it'll move up. Now I want to make it move down if I am pressing the S key. So what do? I'm going to use something called an else if statement. What the else if statement does is it's basically like the if statement, only it triggers if the if statement is not active. So if you press the W key, then it moves up. Else if, it still takes the condition. So we can still say if this condition is true, it'll do something else, right? So in this case, I'm going to actually copy all this stuff here. I know that if this else if statement is true, I want to basically do the same exact thing I did for the if statement, with the only difference being, instead of going up on the positive 5, I'm going to go negative 5, like so. Then I'm going to change this key code, instead of being W, to be S, like so. Now, that's really all you have to do. You're going to click S on a PC. If it's a Mac, you do Command S. And I'm going to go back here. I'm going to click play. And you'll notice that if I press W, it moves up. Press S, it moves down. So, one last issue that we're having here. Now, when I'm pressing these keys, I'm just tapping the W and S button. I'm not like holding it down. So, it still keeps moving even when I'm not touching down on the key. I don't want that. If I'm playing a game of Pong, I want to have fine control over how I'm moving. So right now, there's no way of it stopping if I'm not pressing the key. So, how do I control that? I'm going to add in a new statement called the else statement. Now, what's this else statement going to do? Well, simply put, if I press the W key, it does one thing. Else, if I press the S key on the keyboard, it does another thing. The else is if both of these statements are not true, it's just going to do whatever in the else. So for this one, I'm going to copy this get component, rigid body stuff, put it in here. I'm just going to make it 0. So if I press W on the keyboard, it's going to add 5 to the velocity. If I press S on the keyboard, it adds -5 to the velocity, or -5, so it'll go down. And if I'm not pressing anything, it just doesn't move. Gonna do a quick save, go back here, wait for it to compile, and press play. So now, if I press up, it moves up. Press down, it moves down. And you notice that it doesn't keep moving when I'm not pressing the button. So you have very fine control over how it's moving, which is just awesome. With that, let's just recap what we did. So we did 4 different things. So what we did was, we first froze the rotation of this object, and also the position. Next thing we did, we changed the gravity to be 0. Why? So the character doesn't fall all the way down. Then, what did we do? We went to our script. We created an else if statement that allowed the character to move down when we press the S key. And we created an else statement that allowed the character to not move when we're not pressing any key. That's all we did for this video, and I will see you in the next one.